A shark has to murder other fish in order to survive. Now, why would God create something that has to kill other things? Why? If everything is so loving and compassionate, why?
All right, you're getting to a very good point, which is there is a difference between cutting a head of lettuce, and there is some pain there when you cut a head of lettuce.
Yes.
Cutting a cow's a devout Orthodox Jew either. But he had to acknowledge that there is a creator because matter and energy are not eternal.
But there's still the problem where if we're too complex to have, we're so complex we had to be created, then something more than complex than us had to be created also.
No, it didn't have to be created. It's possible that that being is eternal, an uncaused cause.
Then you have faith that it was always there.
No, you asked yourself, what is the best, most reasonable, most plausible explanation?
So, what it could be is that our universe is ever expanding.
Yes, it is.
All right.
That's why we know there was a Big Bang, because of the expanding
Exactly. Thank you. There was a Big Bang. Period.
universe. No. Not period. The Big Bang shows us that matter and energy are not eternal. There is a beginning. About 15 billion years ago, there is a beginning. Guess what, guys? Everything that has a beginning has a cause.
Why is that cause?
The universe has a beginning, therefore the universe has a cause. One more time. Everything that has a beginning has a cause. Second point, the universe has a beginning, therefore third point, the universe has a cause.
I am nothing but chemicals.
Bravo!
Came from chemicals. I'm saying that we were created from amino acids, a bunch of energy, a bunch of atoms. Exactly.
Yep.
I do not ever preach to anyone that there is going to be something that is after life.
Very
I'm not
good.
going to take hope away from anyone.
Very
I
good.
do not preach my views.
So
But
what does your girlfriend mean when she looks you in the face and says, I love you?
literally, I've told this to her and she was pissed off.
Yeah.
She's like, you heartless bitch.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's nothing
Good.
but a series of chemicals.
You know, I really like you. I respect your intellectual consistency, all right? But it's hard to meet someone who's willing to be as consistent as you. That's very good. You're absolute, and that's what Camus, that's what Sartre, that's what Nietzsche had the courage to face.
I have a question.
Now, my point to you, though, sir, is,
Yes.
are you really, really living it out? What I mean is this.
Okay.
Look at the way you're dressed.
Yes,
I assume you're a student here.
I am.
Okay. Aren't you in the process of attaching a fair amount of meaning, significance,
Yes.
to your life and to the lives of others?
Yes.
Why?
Because the way the evolution happened was humans evolved in groups of tribes, in groups of people, nomadic people. This is way back in the Bible if you want to look at it. And people, with our chemicals, we really need to have other people around us. Why do you think everyone here has a cell phone? Because we're trying to be connected to the world. And what I'm doing, I'm actually a nursing student. I'm being connected to all of my patients every single time I greet them and say, how can I help you flourish today?
Good.
And when I go up to them, all I'm doing is giving them more chemicals, aka prescription medications,
Yes.
so that way they are able to function.
Yep.
All right?
Okay.
There are some people who believe that there's nothing more than prayer that can heal them. I'm saying that
Well, I sure don't believe that.
there are some.
Yeah,
I'm
there
not
are
saying
some.
you are.
I know.
But I'm saying there's more evidence behind saying that there is substantial substance that proves that there is more of a connection than faith alone and your health. And that the way we evolved with communities, I have compassion. It's a series of chemicals. There's an imbalance when people get really depressed and really lonely. And then that's where they came out with SSRIs, selective serotonin retake inhibitors.
Yeah.
And it increases the people's energy to thrive and to go out and do new things. It gives them more willingness to socialize.
Right?
All right. So when you said because I think that we're nothing but a pile of chemicals, what gives me the reason to go out and help other people and
Yeah.
socialize? It's because of evolution.
Okay. But still, you've got to answer the question.
Okay.
Why not pull the plug on the patient I'm a nurse to Why not put arsenic in the bag that drips into their arm? Why do I have to always put what the doctor prescribed, medicine?
Well, why did my parents have me?
I don't
You
have
have
the
to
faintest
think about
idea.
that. No, because why do we continue? Why do we choose to continue on to the next generation? Why do we choose?
I don't have the faintest idea why your parents chose. I can tell you why I chose.
Yours, and yours. Why do we choose? Because
Well, for
we
a lot of
want
different
to,
reasons.
but we choose to extend and help out and create new life. It's part of
No, come on now, come on. Wait a second. You know very, very well that if what you say is true,
Yes.
that we're just piles of chemicals,
Yes.
that eugenics
Yes.
makes total sense.
I said love was a pile of chemicals in your brain, right?
Yeah, but eugenics makes total sense if all we are is piles of chemicals.
Yeah.
Because eugenics says we have limited resources, therefore handicapped people do not help us climb the evolutionary ladder. So we will cut out the handicapped people, we'll kill them.
A shark has to murder other fish in order to survive. Now, why would God create something that has to kill other things? Why? If everything is so loving and compassionate, why?
All right, you're getting to a very good point, which is there is a difference between cutting a head of lettuce, and there is some pain there when you cut a head of lettuce,
Yes.
cutting a cow's head,
Plant has to die or an animal has to die, either or.
cutting a cow's head versus cutting your head.
Okay.
No. Not according to your worldview.
Yes.
According to your worldview,
I see
there is
cows as
no
less than
difference between cutting a head of lettuce, a cow's head, or a human head. We're all just chemicals, right?
We are.
Okay. My worldview is radically different. My worldview says, although the head of lettuce is alive, it is not an animal and it's not a human being. It's of a different order than an animal, and an animal is of a different order than a human.
All right. Now,
Therefore, according to my worldview, it is not an option for me to cut your head and eat your flesh. It is an option for me to eat a cow. It is an option for me to eat a head of lettuce, but not you.
all right. Now, the way I respond to that is when I go up to someone, all right, and I go, hey, let me chop off their head and I can eat them, I think about why can't I just, go cut the head off of a cow and enjoy that? There's a lot more food there. A. B. There's a lot of people who really would not like me chopping off other people's head as I would not like them to chop off mine.
Right.
I would be going to jail. I do not like that. I like to have endorphins going off in my brain when I'm with my girlfriend, all right?
Uh-huh.
So basically, what I'm thinking is that there are other people who a long time ago, and it's in the Bible, it's a long time ago, that said we should not kill. We need to pull ourselves together and function as a society. And what we need to do is not kill each other. We're here as a group of people. Remember, this was before we were all tribes? We need to pull together and outbeat the other species. So what we're doing is we're not trying to kill each other, but we're just trying to survive as a human race. And there's a mutual understanding that I'm not going to go up and chop off Billy Bob Joe's head because I don't want Billy Bob Joe to come and chop my head off.
Okay. So the basis of morality, according to your worldview, is
Their muse. You know? I quite frankly don't want to be hunted. I mean,
Okay.
Well, yeah. We'll say that he thinks that all our chemicals, all life is for nothing. Does that take away from his argument? Does that
No.
does that make the because this started from the whole Big Bang, matter being eternal, stuff like that, as opposed to a loving creator who does that. Does that prove that he's wrong and you're right? That a creator is more plausible than the matter always being there?
I am using reason to challenge you to think about your experience of life.
anyone got
And I am convinced that your experience of life is that love is real. That there's more to love than just a chemical reaction.
Not necessarily, honestly. Like, of course, it feels
Think
like
about
that.
it.
Of course, it feels like that because that's just another mechanism of self replication of just like life. We always have the innate want to reproduce, to keep going, and that's just a part of that. Like if you want to get technical, yes, it's all just a bunch of chemicals. All right.
All right.
Now, what I'm saying, like, we'll say that I accept all this, and I'm kind of crazy, but yeah, I guess that's something I will have to think about, and that is really interesting. You made me think about that, but it doesn't make a creator more plausible than matter and energy always being there. In fact, it stays the same that the most simple is the most plausible, and the matter and energy being more simple than the intensely complex creator that can make this, it makes it more plausible. It makes your option 2 more plausible than your option 4 and 3.
I am convinced that if I believe something and I cannot live it out, it contradicts my experience in life. I had better go back and question what I believe, because it doesn't square with reality. If I have to live my life as if there is meaning to life, then I can't be an atheist.
Why not?
Because if there is no God, there is no meaning to life.
I don't believe that at all. Like our meaning of life is pretty much our want to spread our seed everywhere. That's just a fact of life.
No,
like,
sir.
Yes, it is.
No, sir.
Every living being reproduces. That's what life is. Now, you can put any spin on it as you want. That's our meaning. That is what we do. That's how we live. It's gotten more complex with society or whatever, but it still doesn't make God more plausible.
Sir, if there is no God, all of reality is matter, material,
Yes.
matter and energy, which means there is no purpose, there's no meaning, because all of reality is lived on the physical level. But anthropology shows us that all human beings have this innate drive to figure out what's the purpose of my life, what's the significance of my life. Does my life have innate worth or does it not? Those innate drives that we have demand an explanation because they're universal. That is why materialism, naturalism, viewing all of reality as simple chemicals is incomplete, because it does not describe a humongous part of your experience, your life.
And your belief in an all-knowing God that you pretty much know nothing about in terms of how he did things, that's not incomplete?
See, the problem that I have in talking with you is you jump to conclusions that I'm not asking you to jump to. I'm simply stay right here in the kitchen. Even if it gets hot, stay in the kitchen. The kitchen is your experience and longing for meaning in life, the experience of all of your siblings, your parents, your closest friends, every human being, almost, maybe there are a few exceptions, but almost every human being that you relate to shares this innate drive to understand what's the meaning of my life, what's the purpose. You listen to it in the songs that on the radio, you watch it in the movies. You are consistently confronted by people asking, what's the purpose of my life? Is this a good life that I'm living, or is this a bad life that I'm living? Think about it. I have a radio. You ask me, Cliff, is this a good radio? And I say, no, it's not a good radio. And you say, why, Cliff? And I say, because it doesn't open and shut my garage door. I'm being
But it's
stupid.
not designed for that.
Exactly. Hey, the guy's a thinker. He's very good. You're exactly right. You see, if you ask me, Cliff, is your radio good? And I say, no, because it doesn't hammer nails straight into a board. That's ludicrous. Why? Because in order to answer the question, is it good, you have to ask the prior question, which is, what's the purpose of the thing? You're exactly right. I like the way you think. So, people are always asking, is this a good person, a bad person? And you've got to ask the prior question in order to answer that question. Well, what's the purpose of a person? And if the purpose of a person is no meaning, then a good person can be Hitler, could be Mother Teresa, could be Einstein, could be a guy who blows people to bits.
Maybe it's the people who follow the rules the right way.
But you see, what are the rules and who defines the rules?
Society.
Okay.
Tribes.
Well, then is it Nazi society? Or is it Saudi Arabian society? Or is it American
Wherever
society?
you live. Whatever tribe you're
honestly,
with.
it's
Right,
really,
you are consistent. I like it.
It's very depressing.
No,
It's very depressing.
Thank
but
you.
Any society, if the Nazis won and Nazis took over the world, then their philosophy would be right and wrong. It's unfortunate.
Speaking German.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's true.
no, I'll tell you why it's not true. Because of Dr. Martin Luther King. Come on, guy, you know what King did. He didn't follow his society. He followed his conscience instead of following his society. And that's why you and I respect him. Because he didn't bow to the status quo. He didn't bow to his culture. He said, guess what, culture? You're wrong. Why? Because I have a conscience, a rational mind, and I know that your racism is wrong.